Did Qualcomm just accidentally show us what the S27 Ultra will be capable of? At Mobile World Congress 2026, they dropped some pretty big news about their new modem technology. And if you connect the dots, this could mean Samsung's 2027 flagship is about to get a massive connectivity upgrade. We're talking about speeds that could change how you use your phone completely. Plus, there are some wild rumors floating around about custom chips and camera sensors that might make you think twice about upgrading this year. Let's break down everything we know so far. So Qualcomm walked into Mobile World Congress 2026 and announced their new X105 modem-RF system. Now, this might sound like boring tech stuff, but stick with me because this is actually huge. The X105 is the world's first modem ready for 3GPP Release 19. And Release 19 isn't just another small step forward in 5G technology. This is actually laying the groundwork for early 6G development and testing. Think about it. We're getting a glimpse of what connectivity will look like in the next generation of phones. Based on Qualcomm's typical roadmap, this X105 modem will likely power the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 processor. And guess which phone usually gets the latest and greatest Snapdragon chips first? That's right, Samsung's Galaxy Ultra series. So the S27 Ultra becomes the strongest candidate to get this new modem technology. Let's talk numbers for a second because these are pretty mind-blowing. Peak download speeds hit 14.8 gigabits per second. To put that in perspective, you could download a full 4K movie in just a few seconds. Even on sub-6 GHz networks alone, you're looking at speeds up to 13.2 gigabits per second. Upload speeds climb to 4.2 gigabits per second, which is huge for content creators and anyone working with cloud services. If you've ever been frustrated waiting for large files to upload, this could completely change that experience. The efficiency improvements are just as impressive as the speed gains. Qualcomm built this on a 6nm RF transceiver that uses up to 30% less power. It also has a 15% smaller board footprint, which means more room for other components or a bigger battery. But here's where things get really interesting. The X105 has an integrated 5th-generation AI processor built right into the modem itself. This AI can detect what type of data you're using and optimize the connection based on your specific situation. Whether you're streaming video, making video calls, or downloading files, the modem automatically adjusts for the best performance. Now, satellite support is another headline feature that could be a game changer. The X105 integrates something called NREN, TN for video, voice, data, and messaging over satellite connections. A Galaxy S27 Ultra with this modem could realistically handle satellite video calls in areas with zero cell tower coverage. Imagine being able to make crystal clear video calls from the middle of nowhere. That's not science fiction anymore. That's what we might see in 2027. But wait, there's more to this story. Early January brought news that Qualcomm and Samsung are in talks to produce the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 on Samsung's 2nm GAA process. Now, a well-known tipster called Digital Chat Station has made an even bigger claim. According to supply chain rumors, the Galaxy S27 Ultra could come with a custom-made Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro chip. This special processor would be made on Samsung's 2nm GAA process, the same one that debuted with the Exynos 2600 chip. However, there are conflicting reports about who will actually manufacture these chips. Another tipster pointed out that the 8 Elite Gen 6 processors might not be made by Samsung at all. Instead, Qualcomm could split the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 lineup into standard and Pro variants, both manufactured by TSMC. The Pro version rumors are absolutely wild. We're talking about almost desktop-like clock speeds around 5 GHz. Peak frequencies could reportedly reach 5.5 GHz or even 6 GHz. Of course, these are still early rumors, so take them with a grain of salt. Let's shift gears and talk about the camera situation. Digital Chat Station also posted about Samsung's upcoming flagship imaging sensor. This sensor, allegedly called ISOCELL HPA, could provide a significant upgrade to the 200-megapixel sensor Samsung has been using. It keeps the same resolution but bumps the size up to 1/1.12 inches. More importantly, it adds support for something called LOFIC technology. This technology captures a wider dynamic range than traditional sensors through a separate capacitor within each pixel. The result is better performance in both bright highlights and dark shadows within your photos. Fellow leaker Ice Universe added some additional details to this rumor. Apparently, Samsung wants to use a modified HPA variant called the HP6. This would have a smaller 1/1.3-inch sensor but similar performance capabilities. It's worth noting that Apple is rumored to use LOFIC technology on this year's iPhone lineup. The recently announced Xiaomi 17 Ultra also uses this same technology. Now let's talk about the bigger picture here. For power users, processors and connectivity matter more than anything in a smartphone. But the average person might not care whether they get a Qualcomm or Samsung chip inside their next Galaxy S phone. Since the Galaxy S26 lineup hasn't even been announced yet, reliable information about the Exynos 2700 and Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 is unlikely before the second quarter of 2026. We're still more than a week away from the S26 Trio hitting store shelves. If this year's design and privacy display features haven't convinced you to upgrade from your aging phone, these S27 Ultra rumors suggest you might want to wait. It's important to take any rumor this early with skepticism, especially when it comes to Samsung. A large portion of early Galaxy S26 rumors ended up being wrong when Samsung reportedly changed direction on this year's lineup last fall. Samsung fans have been waiting for ages for a meaningful camera upgrade. While the S26 Ultra isn't completely identical to its predecessor on the imaging side, most improvements come through software and processing rather than hardware changes. So if Qualcomm's X105 ends up in the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6, the Galaxy S27 Ultra could be less about CPU performance and more about intelligent, AI-powered connectivity. This could redefine what always connected actually means for smartphone users. What do you think about these rumors? Are you excited about satellite video calling and crazy fast download speeds? Or are you more interested in the potential camera upgrades? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button if this video helped you understand what might be coming in 2027. Subscribe for more tech news and rumors, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.